Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to give you some information and pieces of advice concerning learning the Russian language. I'm gonna talk about like my own experience. I've been studying Russian for a year, and I've been able to learn a lot of stuff. Now I can express myself in this language, even though I'm not still like very coherent, and I don't really like speak it very fluently, but I'm at a stage where I can understand and I can like completely express myself, right? And I'm going to start with the grammar. So grammar is not a necessity at first. If you want to speak the language, you do not have to study the grammar, okay? But for me, grammar is very important because you can speak without grammar, you can sound fluent, but it's not really the best way for me, because without grammar, you have to listen and repeat, right? And it's not really the best way to learn a language, because for me, I think it would be better to learn the grammar and to use it and to get used to how to like conjugate the verbs, for example, or how to use the podlogy, for example. And I think it's not a necessity, but it would be way better to build this foundation, okay? I have no idea how I look. So I have my laptop right here. I'm going to show you some examples later of stuff to watch, of music to listen to. This video is just based on my own experience, okay? So the first thing, as I said, it's the grammar, okay? You have to get yourself a book. In my case, I found a PDF book on the internet. I just downloaded the book. I'll put the name of this book in the description box below. And this book have helped me so much. It's very well organized, and you have like, for example, at first you have the podlogy, and every podlej is related to the next one, kind of like everything is very well put together, and it's very easy to understand. And after each lecture, there's some exercises that you have to do. And I think it's such a good way to learn the grammar. You have to study it for like, let's say 30 minutes a day. I think if you do 30 minutes a day, it's going to be more than enough to learn the grammar, okay? At least for the first year. Also, I just wanted to mention that usually people want to learn the language during 3 months or like 4 months, and they expect to be fluent in like a year maybe, but it's not the case, unfortunately. You have to know that this language is not very easy, to be honest. Like, you have to work a lot on it, and you have to get yourself used to how it sounds, and you have to write a lot. I will get to this later. Russian is very different from the English language, okay? If you're not speaking one of the Slavic languages, like for example Belarusian, the Ukrainian, because you know these languages have a certain degree of mutual intelligibility, you are gonna struggle at first. It's gonna be a bit hard for you at first, but with time you're gonna get better. The second thing that I want you to do is to try to speak as much as possible. So if you're in Russia, it's gonna be easy for you, okay? Do not shy back from speaking to people. Try to connect with people as much as possible and to use the language, even if it's not perfect, even if it sounds weird. We know how it feels, okay? It feels bad, I know it sucks, but you have to know that Russians are actually nice people. They usually help. They are not rude. They will not make fun of yours. That's not gonna happen, okay? Don't worry about this. Like, try to speak as much as possible, and they're gonna help you. And if you're not in Russia or in a Russian-speaking country, you can use Discord, okay? That's one of the best ways for me. It's free, and you can connect with a lot of Russian people. Like, people from Russia learn English, and people from English-speaking countries learn Russian. And it's very helpful, to be honest. I've tried a couple of Discord servers before, and it was actually helpful. In my case, I didn't know that I'm gonna go to Russia when I was in my country. If I knew, I would have started earlier. I would have started to study in my country. Anyways, you have to use the language, you have to get used to it. You have to know how to pronounce the letters, even though you're gonna get different accents or you're gonna sound a bit weird at first. You're not gonna sound like them, but you have to try your best to pronounce all the Russian letters. For example, the "ы", it took me some time at first to be able to pronounce it. So the first thing is grammar. You have to get a grammar book and to work on on your grammar, and to work on your grammar for 30 minutes a day. And you have to try your best to speak with people either on the internet, on Discord servers, for example, or if you're in Russia, you can go to the streets and not the streets, you can go to cafes, join clubs and stuff, and you can learn the language easily. The third thing that I want you to do is to consume as much movies or series or music as possible. So I know a lot of people who are not very, who do not really like the Russian movies or the Russian music, and I completely understand. People have different tastes in music, and I think you're not obliged to listen to that music, but you can for example, you can switch from Russian series to English dubbed series. They can be dubbed in Russian, and for music, I don't know, to be honest. I think there are a lot of different genres in Russia, but if you do not find something that suits you, you're not obliged to listen to music, of course. You can also listen to podcasts. I will write in the description box below different podcasts that I used to listen and that I am still listening to right now. And you're gonna find the words later when you try to speak. You're gonna remember every word. Not every word, but you're gonna remember a lot of things, okay? Either watch series or listen to music or listen to podcasts, okay? Especially podcasts. And of course, you can follow with the subtitles because it helps a lot. So by these 3 simple steps, with consistent work for at least a year, you are going to get a decent level in the Russian language that's going to be very useful to you, especially if you're in Russia. And I just wanted to talk about something else. If you are a foreigner in Russia and you are not using the language and you are not studying Russian, I think you have to think about this twice, because I see a lot of foreigners that are studying in Russia, for example, or working in Russia, and they are not making any connections with people from Russia, and they're hanging out with others from their country, for example. And I think this is a big mistake. I made the same mistake during the first 3 to 4 months when I came to Russia, and then I tried to change and of course, do not cut out all your friends, or I'm not saying that, but try to learn more about the place that you're living in and try to use the language, try to learn the culture. And I mean, you will never regret learning another language after all. So I think you have to think twice about this. If people talk about paid lectures on the internet, for example, there's a site called italki, and there you can find a lot of different professors, and I think it's a good idea, to be honest. I also think that you can do it by yourself, at least for the first year. You can get that basic foundation by yourself. And then when things will get even harder, I think that would be a good idea to get a professor or a tutor to help you. In my case, I do not think that I'm gonna do that, because first of all, I live in Russia and I have free access to the Russian language every day. And I think that I can use YouTube to learn whatever I want, because there are endless lectures on YouTube and they are perfectly well done. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the weather in Russia, by the way. It's going to be a vlog right now, bro.